come into her house. I go into her room and I'm like, you can't breathe from the smell of the bodies and the fire. And we're standing there and you see on a mattress, I'm standing there and I'm crying, full of blood. And you see the pacifier of the baby and the small toys. And you say, excuse me, we need to stand here to explain? We need to tell the world what's going on? Come and you see in your own eyes. No one made up nothing.
Have you ever been at a point in your life where you go through a challenge and you're like, why is this happening to me? And then only years later, months later, you discover that the challenge that you went through actually prepared you for your reality that you are in today. Meet Yael Zien, who's not even 30 years old and has been making a giant impact on Israel as being an Orthodox, or as she says, charedie woman in the TV and radio space. And she's got a lot of pushback when she started, but she knew what she was doing and she knows what she's doing is for God above. And you're going to hear at the end me kind of give an explanation of what I think she went through and how I could relate. So you're going to hear that at the very end. And you're also going to hear about what she has seen towards the end of the episode since October 7th. She has been one of the most powerful voices in Israel, and she has been in some of the most horrifying places. So you're going to hear about that. So it's a bit of a trigger warning there. So keep in mind, she does explain what she sees. She doesn't go into too much detail, but definitely if it's something that you're going to get triggered by, please just be notified. I do think it's important to hear it, but I just want to let you know that. This episode is in memory of Shimon David ben Yaakov Shlema, as well as Miriam Sarah bas Yaakov Moshe. In this episode, you will hear about our friends at BitBean and how they are going to help you with your software and take your business to the next level. I'm so excited to tell you about them. You're going to also hear about Twillory, which I am rocking right now, another one of those long sleeve polos. You're going to also hear about my obsession with books and how Mosaica Press has been feeding that obsession in the best way possible. And you're going to also hear about your opportunity to win a free apartment in Jerusalem, looking over where the Beis HaMikdash will be built. You're going to hear all about that. Here is my conversation with Yael. I'm Yaakov Langer, and you're listening to Inspiration for the Nation. Thank you so much, Yael Zien, for taking the time to do this. I know you've been very busy, and I appreciate you taking the time. So I want to get into talking about what happened in Israel on October 7th and all the news you've been reporting and everything you've been seeing. But before then, just to give people an introduction, can you give us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got into the position that you're in now today?
Okay, so hello. My name is Yael Zien. Today I live in Tailstone. I'm a mother of 4 children, Michal, Yair, Uriel, and Yonatan. And my dear husband, Yitzchak Zien, is an avrech, sits and learns Torah the whole day from the morning till the night. He has like a small break in the afternoon. And I started when I was younger. I learned in seminary. And then afterwards I went to learn, I did a BA in the tikshoret, like to learn to be in the TV. And it was very weird because I was the only charedie girl over there. Like there was even not like charedie men, no one. Everybody was like Jewish or not Jewish, secular. And I knew in my heart, I said to myself, I know my shlichut in life. The thing I need to do is to go and speak out what's going on and what we're going through as Jews and as charedie. And as you see, there's like a lot of types of charedie. So my house, it's very, very strong and strict. My children go to the best cheder. My daughter learns in Beis Yaakov. So we went to ask the Rav before, the Rav of Yeshivat Yad Aharon, Rav Eichenstein. I went to ask him. I told him I want to know if it's okay that me as a woman, I go to do such a thing. So he told me, when you're going into the TV and radio and you're going to go work in this thing, you should know you need to do it as a shlichut. Like my parents, my father's a Baal Tshuva. He learned in Or Sameach. They came from South Africa, from Johannesburg to Israel. And when we grew up, all of my life, we grew up like as a shlichut. We came to the world to do something, to give everybody, the whole world, to know who's a Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world. And I felt I got this, Kadosh Baruch Hu gave me this in my life and I have to use it. There's two options, or not to use it, to leave it in the side, or to go learn it. And I said, let's go learn and let's see what's going to be. The minute I started to learn, I got a phone call from a TV station. They wanted me to come work there in a program, in a morning program. And I was studying, and straight away I started to work in this TV station. I had my program in the morning, and I tried to put a bit in like Yahadut, Torah, mitzvot, what's about Kadosh Baruch Hu in life. I told them my parents' story, my father's story, that he came from South Africa to Israel. He left everything and he came here and he started to study in Shar Shamayim. He learns also Kabbalah and he writes books for Yefen Ofeldaim. And he taught us, as a father, he told us, I want every one of you to know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a beautiful world. He gave us a lot of nice things in life. And we should use what he gave us לפאר את שמו של הקדוש ברוך הוא. That's my shlichut. Each one has a shlichut in life. I won't tell you all of the things that I went through because it's very long. We can speak for.
I definitely want to taste. I want a taste of, like, emotionally, it's probably very difficult. And I just want to paint the picture for those who don't understand. Definitely, even in America, like the average Orthodox woman does not go into the news station. Emotionally, what was the pushback that you were getting, and how did you deal with that?
So the beginning, I'll tell you, that's why I went to ask the Rav, because I knew if I'm going to start such a thing, I'm sure people are going to say, hello, what she's trying to do, or it's not the right thing to do. So I asked the Rav, and he told me, do what you think or what you know each time. Like, try to mechaven yourself to do the right thing, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you siyata dishmaya. And I had people that, like, straight away told me, I don't think it's the right thing. You should stop. Don't continue. It's not matim for a Chariedi woman to do TV. Maybe you should do like background things. And I said to them, listen, my name is Yael. And we know the Tanakh, Yael minashim ba'ohel tevorach. Yael was the wife of, she married Sisra. And she's the one that she killed him in the end. And she did all of this thing leman shmo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we know Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Dvorah Neviah. There's a lot of women in the Tanakh, in the Jew nation. We have a lot of ladies and women that they were very strong, and they did things leman shmo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I knew that when I'm going to start to do such a thing, maybe people are going to start to ask questions and even maybe be upset. But I said, do what you know is the right thing to do. And try to mechaven lishmo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I always used to sit and say, Hashem sfatai tiftach ufi yagid teilatecha. I'm also saying it now before we starting to speak, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should put me the words that Be'ezrat Hashem I should say the things that give chizuk to Am Yisrael, and really that's the thing I do the whole time. And people were upset, and people did call us and said, you should not do it. This place that you're going to work, there's a lot of lefties. They're Sonai Israel. Don't go work there. It's not the right thing. And I said, you know what? That's the shlichut. And I want to take you back with what we started, that I told you that there was a lot of ladies in Klal Israel. We know all about Esther. You know Esther and Achashverosh, Mordechai Yehudi, Beshar HaMelech. And we all know that Mordechai Yehudi came to Esther and he told her, Ve'im acharesh tacharishi ba'et hazot, רווח והצלה יעמוד ליהודים ממקום אחר. ואת ובית אבך תאבדי, ומי יודע אם לעת כזאת תיגעת למלכות. Mordechai comes to Esther Amalka and he tells her, you know, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu put you in this position. Now it's your decision. You need to decide that you're now in a shlichut to help Klal Yisrael. And maybe if you're not going to help, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send someone else to do that. I feel this is my shlichut. And it wasn't easy, like I told you. I don't want to say names and everything, but a lot of like people and a lot of big like organizations came up to me and told me, you should stop. You should not do it. It's not the right thing. You should be at home. You should cook. I do cook, but like just cook. Be with your children. Just be with your children. Be home. Try to be behind the screen. And you know, I'm young. So I didn't tell you in the beginning, but I'm 29 years old. And when I started it, it was 8 years ago. So I was very young, and they told me, listen, you think you know, but it's not the right thing. You should like maybe wait a bit, a few more years. But I told him, listen, I see where everybody's now. Where's the Jews? Where the charedim? There's a lot of like everything started with the Facebook in the beginning, and I saw everybody's interested with these things. So I said, listen, I didn't make up this thing. I didn't come and say, this is the TV, this is the radio. No, these things already are here. Now it's my time to go into these places and to try to say things about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yahadut, family, like to make them feel and understand that it's such a nice and good thing. And when I started, the Rav told me, you know what? Go to these far places. Go to these places that the lefties are there, the far people that even have no idea who's the Jews, and maybe they know, but they know the bad things, not the good things, because there it's a real shlichut. And you know what? I want to tell you something. When I started there, I get a lot of people, the Chariedi are starting to tell me, wow, we got chizuk from you. We heard you saying on your morning program something about Am Yisrael, and you spoke about Shabbos. And then I understood that the Charedim are all over. And when I went there and I said, I'm gonna speak to these far people, I spoke to the far people, but you know what? I spoke also to our people, to the close people that are looking and watching, and all of these TV programs, far programs in the USA, the London, Paris, like people like to watch and see. And I said, you know what? Now is the time. Before Mashiach comes, I know all of the Tumah's coming out and everything's outside and everybody can see everything. You press one button and you have everything in your phone. Now is the time to go in. And I want to tell you, I had a very hard time in the beginning, like I started, because people told me a lot of things about my father and my mother when I started, and my husband and his parents, that he has an amazing story. His mother converted. She was an opera singer for 16 years. And she came here to Israel, and they all converted with the children. And my husband was born like after, but he also had to go through something. And they all told me, you know what? When we see a Chariedi woman that's not afraid and comes and speaks, and in these places, the lefties, they always speak about, oh, shame, the Chariedi ladies, they need to be in home the whole time. The husbands decide for them. They have nothing to speak. They have nothing to say. And you're not a man, Chariedi, that's also Kiddush Hashem, but you're a woman. And you want to come and tell them, you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're speaking. I want to tell you the truth. I want you to know exactly what's going on in the Chariedi community, because it's me and it's my neighbors and it's my friends and it's my sisters and it's my mother. And we chose in this way. No one chose for us this way. We chose, and we choose every day, and we happy and we smiling and we have amazing life and we raise our children and everything's so good. And whatever you know and whatever you speak and whatever you say, it's not the truth. I want you to come here into my house and see what we're going through. I want you to come see my Shabbos. Come. You have things to say. You're upset? Come. I'm inviting you to come into my house and to see how we live. So I'm going back to Esther Hamalka. When she was over there with Mordechai Yehudi, she had two choices. She could go right and she could go left. She could say, you know what? I don't care. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put me here, but it's hard. It's not easy. People are upset. People are saying to me things. But she decided to put everything in the side, and she knew HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave her now the opportunity to go and to fight for Am Yisrael. And that's what she did. And that's how Klal Yisrael got the Yeshua. We know the name of the Megillah. It's not Megillat Mordechai, Megillat Am Yisrael, Megillat Esther. We know that she got the name. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the woman, he gives the power, Megillat Esther, because it was through Esther. Where outside people would say, ooh, Esther, she's dressing, she's coming to Achashverosh, she's asking for things, she's calling them to come to her house, to have like a mishteh, she wants to speak to Achashverosh, she wants to tell him all about Aman's ideas. So I said, you know what? Now is the time. I didn't choose it. When I started to learn, I said, let's see. I had a different idea. I wanted to do something for just charedim. I said, I want to do like a small thing. Maybe I wanted like to learn it because I knew I'm good at it. The minute I started to learn and they called me in to start to work, I said, you know what? I get like lights, like I get he'ara. I get like HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like he's speaking to me through people. I heard charedim people coming up to me. Wow, we heard it. It gave us such a chizuk. A lady came up to me. She told me she has already 8 children and she's taking tablets. She's in dikaon chamur. She's in a very down and she has 8 children, charedim, her son's in yeshivas, her daughter's in seminars. She doesn't want to go out of bed. She feels so down after her 8th birth, and she told me, I heard you. And you're not speaking to us, to the charedim. You're speaking to these lefties on TV. You're giving them like ideas about what's to be a woman, a charedie. She told me, listen, it gave me such a chizuk, I can't even explain to you. And the sentence she tells me, listen, I know rabbanim, I know rabbaniot. I listen to a lot of them. But it's more than the artza'ah, more than getting a chizuk from like a rav saying it's important to do this and this and this. She told me like it was very natural and you spoke and so it gave me a lot of chizuk to continue. And like I said, like my family, my husband, he told me, don't listen. People are telling you things. I'm telling you, I have this feeling you're doing the right thing. And I felt the whole time I'm doing the right thing. It's hard. It's not easy because then you get another phone call. Listen, you think you're doing the right thing, but it's not the right thing. And I'm like, Kadosh Baruch Hu, what you want from me? What you want from me? I had a lot of times that I fell. I said, you know, people are not seeing the right thing I'm trying to explain or to do. People came up and they said, you know, you maybe you think you're speaking and you're telling them, but they're not really listening, or it's not the right thing to do. And I'm going to tell you, when I was younger, I had nisyonot in tzniut. It wasn't easy for me. I got all like people that, a lady phoned me and she told me there's a very big company that work with makeup stuff, and we want you to model, we want you to do this. And I learned in seminar in Beis Yaakov, and she told me, and I said, you know what, it can be a good idea. She said, we're going to pay you good money. And I did it. And then I was very, very like upset with myself. I said, why did I do such a thing? But then I said, you know what? Sheva ipol tzadik vekam. Like I had to go through this thing to understand it's not, now it wasn't something like they did pictures and they posted it was very old, like it was on the newspaper. And even I think people didn't recognize me because they did like all the makeup different. But it was a woman that did it. And my parents even they weren't like upset or something. They said, okay, you want it. You need to decide in life. We decide. My father said, I become like a Baal Tshuva. I decided. And this is your way you want to go in life. And I broke, like in those days, I remember it was so hard for me to decide what's the right thing to do. I'm doing the right thing. I'm not doing the right thing. Maybe I'm thinking this is what I need to do. But also then I came up and I gave a lot of chizuk to the girls in my age. A lot of them went off the derech. A lot of them in those days, a few of them even went on drugs. I had a few friends that work till today in like not so. And I said to myself, you know what? I had to go through this thing. It was okay. It wasn't something like I had my line, my father and my mother, they're very strong, very like strict in certain things. Like in this thing, they told me decide by yourself. But I had like a feeling that I need to go through it. I need to like go through something in life to understand like what I take upon myself. I need to decide. So in these days, when I did this, also in the beginning, I was like, I remember that when I was younger, I had this, like, I didn't know it's the right thing, not the right thing. But towards like, we starting like, I started like half a year, I had this program in the morning, and every day, like I said, every day was a day. Good days, less good days. I say every day is a good day. We need just to look and to understand that's the best for us. And it wasn't so easy. Like I said, neighbors and people were coming up and telling me, but on tzniut, I was very makpid. This should be closed and here marpek and ma she'efshar, like what I can do for tzniut, for the young generation. Because I remember when I was younger, when I did that thing and I went to model and took pictures and makeup, there was one lady that she came up to me, a Chariedi woman, very tsanua, like she was very fine. And she told me, you know what? I think it's good you did it. You did it b'tzniut. They took pictures of your face and everything, but you did it b'tzniut. And you maybe show that, yes, you Chariedi, you strong about your way, you're doing good things. And that's something you got as a matana from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you're using it for good things. If you ask me today if my daughter wants to do such a thing, I'm not sure I'm gonna allow her. Like my parents told me, like it's okay. But it's a miracle that I'm here today and I'm strong. Like I told you, like friends and people that I knew, each one. I have also very good friends today that the husband sits and learns. But I had my goal in life and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to be very strict with what's good, what's bad, and what's good for me. And what I'm going to say and speak, it's not going to be like just to discuss things and speak. No, whatever I'm doing, it's for shlichut. It's for לפאר את שמו של הקדוש ברוך הוא בעולם.
We will be right back to this week's episode. But first, our good friend Shmuel, we've known each other for a few years now.
That is correct.
And the best raffle ever. Tell us about the Dream Raffle.
This is the Dream Raffle. This is our 6th year, Yaakov, and we're raffling off $1 million apartment in the heart of Yerushalayim. For one ticket, just go to www.thedreamraffle.com, and the link is below, as you can see. And you could win a beautiful $1 million apartment in the heart of Yerushalayim with a view of the third Beit HaMikdash. I used to say a view of Har HaBayit. What do you mean Har HaBayit? A view of the third and final Beit HaMikdash from your living room window.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I think even, like you've been doing the raffle for years, I think this year is even more special to do it because now's the time when we know like Mashiach's coming very soon, and
100%.
We need to be in Eretz Yisrael, and we're going to need an apartment there. So
that's correct. And I'll tell you another reason why it's very important. It's because where the money is going. Mm-hmm. The money is not going to anybody's pocket. There's not one person in Am Yisrael Chai, that's the organization that runs this raffle, that's on payroll. We don't have a staff. Everything is a volunteer. And the money goes to help Israel during these challenging times. We're buying a bulletproof ambulance for the city of Sderot. We're helping the Kitot Konanut, that's the civilian security response teams. We're helping farmers in the Gaza envelope area, what's called Otef Aza, rebuild their farms. We are helping search and rescue. Believe it or not, they're still searching for missing people from the October 7th massacre, mainly with dogs, and we are the biggest sponsor to the dog unit. This is where the funds go. So it's a $180 ticket, but for listeners of Living L'Chaim,
Oh, yeah.
I will make a deal. Let's make a deal.
Okay, let's do it.
Here it is. Okay. So first of all, you'll get 1 + 1. Buy 1 ticket, get 2. Buy 2, get 4, and so on. And also use coupon code LL. Remember, coupon code LL as in Living L'Chaim.
Okay, nice.
And take $10 off your order.
Okay, so you're going to get double the tickets and get $10 off.
That is correct.
the price.
And
Ooh.
imagine when a guy calls you and says, Yaakov, I won based on, I was listening to your podcast. By the way, do you know how to say podcast in Hebrew?
I have no clue.
Here it is. Podcast.
Okay.
So there
Classic.
it is. I've given you your first Hebrew lesson.
Yes, I like
so
that.
So you could win the apartment, come to Yerushalayim, see the Beit HaMikdash, save $10 using coupon code LL, and the money goes to fantastic causes.
That's really beautiful. I get very excited whenever the raffle goes on. It's live and I watch it. I'm excited for myself, but I'm also excited because I know in the past few years, so many people have bought and they've reached out and they said they're very thankful because they see all the good that you guys are doing. But I'm always like, okay, if I win, that'll be next level. But imagine someone who's listening to this and like they saw this and they're like, I won because of watching this episode.
That's right.
It's amazing. So
there it is. 1 + 1 coupon code LL, and you can win an apartment in Yerushalayim, and the money goes to incredible causes during these difficult and challenging
And I want people
times.
to click on the link below, but let's say they're driving and they can't click on the link. What's the website?
TheDreamRaffle.com. Remember the word TheDreamRaffle.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Shmuel.
My pleasure.
Okay, before we get back to the episode, I want to tell you about this idea that popped into my head. Basically, we are seeing so many beautiful ways each person in the Jewish nation is fulfilling their mission, right? When you think of a baseball game, you have a pitcher, you have a catcher, you have a coach, you have a person on second base. You have a lot of different people in different positions. And yes, some points in the game, right, when they're pitching the ball, you're going to have someone who's more important because he's the pitcher. And then when the ball goes to left field, you have the person in the outfield. He's now the important person. We each have our role. And you see that happening in the Jewish nation now. You have people who are like, my mission, as we had last week, I have to be a soldier. You have Yael who's like, I have to be the spokeswoman for the Jewish people. You have people who are, like Yael's husband, sitting in the basement and saying, I am studying. I know that this is what God wants me to do. And we all have our mission. You could be watching at home and saying, what's my mission? And I look at that and I say that's really beautiful because when we're all doing our mission, we all come together to get to the next level. And what better way to do that than with the folks at BitBean? They are an incredible software company. And when it comes to your business, there are so many moving parts. There's so many reasons for things to not work out the way they should. And there are so many places out there that have, hey, you want to use our CRM, you want to use our system. Like, that's great, but it's not tailored towards what your business needs. And what BitBean does is they understand what your company is doing, what your organization is doing, and they'll build a software that's tailored for you, that you don't have to have that headache of saying, oh my gosh, this system works for that accounting firm, but how does that work for our accounting firm? Because we actually are a little more specific in how we do things. Every business is specific in their own way, and there's so many moving parts. And just how we see Gedolei Yisroel, the Jewish nation, coming together, just how you have a baseball team, you have people working together in order to win that game. I was about to say, so they go win the Super Bowl. That is the wrong sport. Clearly, I'm not a sports guy, but you want BitBean to help your business to succeed. And when it comes to anything software, they are the ones to do it. And you're going to hear a lot more about them and the different folks that they have helped. They are by far and large the top of the game when it comes to the Orthodox community, when it comes to software. But it's honestly a lot more than that. They help so many places that are not Jewish companies because they help companies as a whole. They learn what you need and they create that seamless software that will take your business truly to the next level. So go ahead and check out bitbean.com. You can find the link in the show notes. Now back to our conversation with Yael.
When I started and I saw a lot of charedim people are coming up and telling me it gave them chizuk, I understood how it's important, dafka in these days that, like I said, everything's open, everything's out. People are watching everything, looking at everything. And like your program, and I want to tell you, kol hakavod for you for doing your podcast, because I'm sure,
thank you,
like you said in the beginning, people that are not Jews, we're not speaking on religious, people in the whole world today want to know, want to hear. And you know what? There was a big movie on Netflix that they did on the charedim, that the women are ashamed and the shidduchim. And I told them, you know what? I married in a shidduch. I met my husband Yitzchak 3, pgishot. 3. We met 3 times. And then was a vort.
Yeah.
And it was my first bachur that I met in my life. All of my life I learned in seminar. And I was a very shamul girl. And I met the first bachur that my auntie phoned, and she said, oh, Yael, you know what? I have a good shidduch for you. Yitzchak Zin, come meet him. My name was Jacobs before, Yael Jacobs. We met 3 meetings. The 4th meeting, it was a vort, and we got engaged. And people told me, whew, you don't look stupid. Like, what's going on? You're not afraid? Like, in my family, a lot of them meet for years, know someone. I said, no. I don't believe in all of these things to know and know. I believe in a shidduch. I believe when someone calls and you know before what you want, and everything's like more in a way that not someone meets someone and, oh, you look nice, so let's get married. No. So my way from the beginning was very strong. And when also I went to this thing, I went in a strong way. Like, I know there's a lot of people that work in these things or do these programs, and it's parve. I want to do it like with a hechsher, like something that's going to be 100%, not like trying to play games. No, I wanted it to be like very strict. And I know also like what we're doing now, a lot of people call me and tell me, we want you to come on an interview. I want you to speak. And I say, like, I checked this like a shidduch. I wanted to make sure that it's important and that people get chizuk from it, and it gives people a good idea about charedim. Like I told you on this Netflix program, that people just saw bad things on the Jews, bad things on charedim. They were all saying, I feel sorry. So I came up in the program and I said, don't make up stories. I want to tell you what, there's in every, like also the Muslims and also the Christians have kitzoni. Also in the Charedim, there's kitzoni to this way, kitzoni to this way. We need to be straight, like normal. And we can discuss things, even that you're not religious. And even if you're not a Jew, we can speak, we can discuss, we can understand each other. And I think it made, first of all, gave me more than I even got, more than I gave people, more than I spoke to people, I got by myself. I got in myself. I got such a chizuk from it. It made me strong in my way. It made me every day to understand. Thank you, Hashem, for giving me this, for being charedie, for having such a beautiful family. Thank you for my parents. Thank you for my husband, for the children. Thank you that we can speak things and we have these like kelim. We have these, like we have cameras, tools, we have computers. We can speak today. Look, you overseas, you in America and I'm here in Israel, and we can speak. You know why? Because Mashiach's gonna come soon. And I said the whole time when I started, I want to be the one that sits on TV and says, come on guys, Mashiach's here. Everything's coming. Come, take your flights, come from all over in the world. Get ready. Like Miriam HaNeviah, עם התופים והמחולות, it's time for Mashiach. So I believe that we need all of these tools, that everything's going to be quick because Mashiach's going to come. There's no time. Like everybody needs to get ready. And I'm telling you that every day that I do my job, I really feel, and I get a lot of, from people, I hear that it's so important that it's not just a charedie, that it's a woman, that's a real charedie that comes up and speaks what people are afraid to speak. I got stories from ladies, Charedie ladies, that called me and said to me, Yael, we don't want no one to know, but I'm going through this and I have another like bad thing, and please, we need you to speak for us and we need you to help us and go on TV and speak. I want to take you to one of these stories that Avigdor Lieberman in the Israeli government sent all of the Chariedi men that Avrechim that set to learn. We're going to stop give them money, and we're going to stop help the children that if you have one child, you get a certain amount of help from the government. And you have two children, you get a certain amount of, and if you want to send them to kindergarten, you also get a certain amount of help. So he said, students get it. Everybody gets a soldier, everybody. Charedim students that sit and learn Torah, they don't get it. And all of the years we used to get it, and good amounts. And he said, we're stopping it. So I said, excuse me, why are you stopping it? And I started to get a lot of phone calls from Chariedi ladies. Listen, I have 8 children. I have no money, hardly have food, bread. How can he do such a thing? And the children have to go to school. We can't decide if you want them to go not. It's part of life. You need to send your children to go learn. So how Avigdor Lieberman does it straight for the Charedim. He takes his finger and I want to poke. I want to disturb I don't want them to learn. And he said, yes, the Chariedi guys need to go out of kollel, out of yeshivas. They need to start work. We need them to work. And I told them, you know what? First of all, the Chariedi women work a lot. They work in Intel, they work in high-tech. I went into these high-tech places with my camera and I did a whole thing with netunim, not just talking in the air. I want you to know the Chariedi women work. And also the men in the Chariedi, they work. A lot of them sit and learn, but it's a lot of Iluim or people that sit and learn. And part of them, they also sit and learn and also work. They do it together. And you get misim. Mm-hmm. And you know how many Chariedi guys, they volunteer? And that we're going to speak now when we speak from the 7th of October. You know how many Chariedi volunteer in Zaka, Ichud Atzole, Yedidim, Mada, Yad Sarah, Ezer Mitzion, Zichron Menachem. There's tons of organizations, Beyachad Nenatzeach of Shai Graucher, a lot of people that volunteer. They don't get any money from the government and they do everything for free to help and to do things. And a lot of Charedim work and the women work a lot of hours, and they're the best, the Chariedi women. So all of these, the Charedim don't do nothing. Go check. Everything's written. You can see the numbers. And what's with the Israeli Arabs that stay here and the women don't work and the husbands also don't do a lot of them things, and they get everything from the Bituach Leumi, they get money from the government. If you do something, you need to do it for everybody. So when I understood that no one can say this, I'm the only one, and I get phone calls from TV station 12, that's the best Israeli TV station, and then 13 calls me, and then 11 call me, and 14 call me, and all of the radio stations, we want you to come and speak. We want, first of all, Charedim, and second of all, if a man comes and say it, it's not the same thing like a woman comes and say it, because you're the lady, and they start to tell you, you want your husband to sit and learn? You decided, you want it? Or your husband just said, I'm sitting and learning and you go work. No, we want it.
We'll be right back to this week's episode, but first, I've been crying a lot on these past week's episodes. I even cry at the next part that Yael's about to talk about. You're not going to see it because she's doing more of the talking and I'm not really, but on my end, I'm tearing up and I try not to be too loud with my sobbing. But before then, I think we've been going through a lot, the Jewish nation, and we have so many resources, so much knowledge, so many places, so many outlets for us to get our mind off things. And that's important. That's healthy to do that now. Of course, we got to focus, and that's maybe what you're doing now. You're trying to focus on what's going on and how it could be informed and how you can help. But there's also points where, it comes to Shabbos, or maybe as before you're going to sleep, you need to just like unwind. And growing up was not a reader, but I have changed teams. I am totally a reader now. And one of the favorite things I've been doing, honestly, this past year has been reading books, and Mosaica Press has been changing the game for me personally, because their books, the vast wide range that they have for their titles, their books, their Sfarim is huge. 2023, my favorite book that I read was Beginnings. I think that's the proper name for it. Beginnings. I'm not exactly sure, but you can find it on the site. Rabbi Haber actually is the one who wrote it. And I'm going now to I'm going to read you some of the titles. I went on, I'm overwhelmed. I can't read you too many titles because there's too many. You have Brick by Brick. You have From Creation to Redemption. You have Think Outside the Locks, which actually is a very cute picture. It's a little locks jumping over bagel. Which Way is Up, The Jewish Gratitude Journal, Scrolls of Poetry. You have Dr. Zimmerman's book, which has been From Boys to Men, which we sold on our website, which has been insane. Literally over 1,500 copies sold just on Living L'Chaim alone. Shmuzin of Rav Mordechai Schwab, Yom Kippur That Never Ended. One of my favorites, The Daily Aliyah. You have so many books there. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I get that, but I want a good deal. Well, you're going to get 18% off. And the way 18% off works is the more you buy, the more percentage you get off. I mean, the more money you spend, but also the more you save. So go ahead, go to mosaicapress.com. Of course, the link in the show notes to get your favorite title. It's probably going to be a book that you didn't even think you're going to buy, and judge a book by its cover, because some of their covers are incredible, and the content of inside the book is even better. Go ahead and use the code word L'chaim for 18% off. Don't buy just one book. Buy 2 books. Buy 3 books. Buy whatever it is you can to A, take your mind off the very heavy things that we're all going through, but also B, to just help you get to that next step of just expanding your knowledge. And they do a great job. So we love you at Mosaica Press. Now, before we get back to my conversation with Yael, and she's great. She's great. I need to tell you all about how you're also going to save money with Twillory. And you know, if you're watching this, Living L'Chaim, we all love kosher money. My brother Eli Langer and Yoni and Yechiel and Yehudis and Jody, the entire kosher money team are doing a great job. And I think I want to focus on Twillory. The fact that their clothing really lasts a long time. I'll be straight up. I'll be honest. So I think some of their clothing there, you could buy on Amazon for a quarter of the price. And I bought pants on Amazon and I love the fit. I'm not going to say the brand, great fit. But after 3 times of wearing it, there's little bubbles, and it's like, it looks bad. It just looks, my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I tried saving money. To be honest, I got them before I got Twillory. But with Twillory, their pants last a long time. Their shirts last a long time. Their suits last a long time. You're paying for what you get. So it is a great item to buy that will hopefully last you for many years to come. So go to Twillory.com. You are going to get $18 off with the code word INSPIRE when you spend over $139 when you are our new customer. Maybe you're a returning customer. Whatever it is, go ahead and check out Twillory for years to come. You're going to have clothing that lasts. Now back to my conversation with Yael. So Yael, let's move into October 7th. I mean, clearly, you're describing there was there was a lot of back and forth, different sides, right and left in Israel. There's definitely been a major shift and a lot of unity going on. Could you share with us from your position, what have you seen? Maybe some of the horror that you've seen since October 7th, maybe some of the silver lining, the beautiful moments that you've seen?
So first of all, I need to tell you, from October 7th, all of our lives are changed. Even if I had before on TV, I went up and we had a bit of a fighting with the lefties and rights and charedim and not charedim and Jews and not Jews. I decided from the 7th of October, I'm stopping everything, knocking down It's not the time now. It's not the time, never. But even if until now we fight it and we had, now is the time to be together like brothers. Akadosh Baruch Hu gave us this moment that we should wake up. He wants us to wake up and to understand we brothers, we need to be together. We need to love each other. We need to help each other. It's not the time to fight. So first of all, I opened my camera and I started to cry. And I begged and said, everybody, please, let's be together. It's not the time now to fight. Now it's the time to love each other. Beyachad nenatzeach. Now it's the time to be together, because just together we're gonna manage, and we're gonna Be'ezrat Hashem see good things. Because in these times that everything happened, it was very, very hard, very sad, a lot of fighting, a lot of misunderstanding. And also in the TV station that I work and the radio station that I worked, I told them, listen, if till today you called me and told me, we want you to speak about this, about that, I told them, from today, don't call me even. If you have stories that you want good things to hear, I'm here to give you good things. I'm here to give you good information. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to start, and it's not the time. It's never the time. And I want to tell you something. I got a phone call from Zaka, from Moti Bukchin, and he told me, Yael, we need a woman to come with us. Till now, it was mostly men. We need a woman. It was, I think, a week after 7th of October. I want you to come. And if you can, and speak also in English. They didn't have enough of English people that can speak it. And he said to me, I think a lady's going to be much more emotional because you're a mother and you're going to come and see what's going on. So I was like, it was very hard days, and I was afraid like to leave my house. We were here next to the shelter, and we had like sirens and Simchas Torah, and all of the neighbors stopped the Simchas Torah with the Sefer Torah. They all went to the army and family and the neighbors, and I didn't want to leave. I was here. Like, I don't know if you know, but usually I turn off my phones on Shabbos and Simchas Torah. This time my phone was on, and it was like in the side. And I got tons of phone calls and tons of texts. Please come help us. Please come help us. Don't ask what's going on. Don't ask what's going on. And all of my neighbors that work in Ichud Hatzolah, and a lot of them, they like got phone calls, and the guys that work they in the army, they all went put on like army and took out the uniform, guns, yeah, and went out. So, and we had here sirens, and here I live in Talstone. It's most like everybody's charedim, and I live across here. If you can see from the window, the TV station 12 and 13, that's the Israeli. So one of them ran from there into here to Talstone. He came here next to my neighborhood, and he said, you Haredim, you have no idea what's going on. Stop your davening. Go into the shelters. There's a lot of terrorists going here. There's a war. He was the first one that came in and said, I thought something bad's happening. He said, there's a war. People are killing and kidnapping to Gaza. So when he phoned me from Zaka, I was like it's a nightmare. I'm afraid. But he told me, just if you want, you don't have to. And I thought about it. And the morning after, I called him and I said, you know what? For sure I'm coming. Like, what's going on? For sure I'm coming. That's my shlichut. I'm now coming. I want the whole world to know what we're going through here. So I went with Zaka, and the minute we started to go, first of all, we all had to wear everything because we're going into Be'eri. And where we stood in Be'eri, it was the actual place. I don't know if you know the story about the Beit Markachat, Mirpaat Shinaim. There was a whole area that was bombed, and the Hamas guys took them as Bnei Aruba.
Captives, hostages.
Yes, captives. The minute I got a phone call from Moti Bookchin from Zaka, he told me, please, I want you to come. I want a woman and a Chariedi woman to come and speak and tell the world what's going on. When I came with him and we went in, first of all, we can hear like the bombs, and it was a week after 7th of October. It was still, I can't even explain to you the way over there, like near Nova, all of the cars, everything's burnt, pieces of everything on the floor. You're going to bury everything, a smell burnt and a smell of bodies and you know, when I'm telling you now, I get like I can vomit just from thinking about what we saw. Like I came a week after, but still everything was still there and was bombing. And we went into this place that was a real, there was a very big story over there in Be'eri. When the Hamas guys started to hear the army coming in, they took a group of people that they still had, and the army went in and they had like a whole fight in between of them. And in that place, a lot of people were killed. And I picked up like a shoe of a young girl, and you see like baby clothes, and it's like, and I'm a mother of 4 children, and just to think that these mothers of these children hold them and like hug them in the last moments of their lives, and I can't even explain to you what went. Like you see a door and it's full of shooting, like gun shooting and bleeding and everything still. When I went over there, I locked my heart. Like I said, now it's not the time to cry. It's not the time now. We're going to have enough times to cry. Every day, families are going to Levayot of mother and father and 4 children, like in the same day. You see all of the bodies laying dying, and like, what's going on? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's worse than the Holocaust, much worse than the Holocaust. 40 babies and Simchas Torah, 40 babies were killed one day. And in this party of Nova, over like hundreds of people are killed. So when I went there and I saw these Charedim people with yarmulkes, with tzitzit, Chosidim, like with big beards, going to these houses and taking out every small piece of, just to bring them to Kever Israel. And these peoples that lived here were even not Charedim and lefties, but nothing. Everything's in the side. We don't even remember, like there's nothing to talk about. Now it's the time to be together. Now it's the time to help. And you know, the day I went in, it was the bad story that they found Zaka. They said, we're not leaving. We still need to stay and look. And there was still, the fight was, they saw in a house a mother with a small, tiny baby hugging, and they were killed in a horrible way in the basement of the house. They were trying to run away. And every house has a story. You come in, you still see the sukkah, all of the sukkot from sukkahs, everything's still standing. The sukkot, everything's, and I go as a lady, as a woman, I come into a house, I go into a room and I'm like, you can't breathe from the smell of the bodies and the fire. And we're standing there, and you see on a mattress, I'm standing there and I'm crying, full of blood. And you see the pacifier of the baby and the small like toys, and you say, excuse me, we need to stand here to explain? We need to tell the world what's going on? Come and you see in your own eyes. No one made up nothing. It's not about a wall, Israel and a different nation. No, it's about people, families that stay in the homes, and these terrorists just coming to the houses, break the walls, break the doors, going to the rooms, shoot them in beds with pajamas. It's not a war. Like the world comes and says things. I'm saying like shame on you, the world. Because this thing is not just about the Jews. They're going to come tomorrow to the USA and to Paris and to Italy, everywhere. They want to be the ones everywhere. Terrorists, it's terrorists, no matter what. And I saw these things in my own eyes. I come in and yes, this is what happened. Every house, every room, and the charedim are all volunteering and coming in and helping. And in my neighborhood, all of the ladies are making food and baking and want to help. And they all like, come into our houses. We want you to come. When I went there and I did these videos and I showed, like I said, not just the world, also these people in Israel, like everybody saw. Everybody, I got on my phone calls. Yael, we want to volunteer. We want to help. We want to make them food. We want to daven. We want to pray. All of the koileli, my husband's koileli, they all took names of hostages and soldiers, and everybody's like praying. And then you see, this is Klal Yisrael. I said, I want to leave all of this like position of TV and radio and just speaking. No, I want to go into these places. I want to be part of Klal Yisrael. I don't want to sit up and just speak, talk. No, I want to be part. Like people are going through horrible things. And I got, like I told you, on Simchas Torah phone calls. One of them was Shani Gabai. Her mother called me. She told me she's 25 years old. She went to this party. We have no idea. Where is she? We have no idea. And I told her, wait, maybe she's kidnapped in Gaza. She told me, we didn't get her name yet. And I went with Zaka. So I told Zaka, look, this is the pictures. And I explained to the mother to go do a DNA check and to do like a teeth. They had to check her teeth and everything. And I got videos and pictures of her, and her mother sent me the text that she sent her at 8:00 in the morning from a small shelter like next to the party. And she told her mother she got shot in her leg, and she sent the video. And I'm trying to call Mada and Ichud Solo and Zaka, and because I worked on the TV and the radio, so I have a lot of connections in the government. And 2 years ago, I also worked in the government. I had a specific thing I had to do there for one of the ladies that worked in the government. So I went in there and I went to everybody, whoever I saw. I went in the rooms. I said, I saw Chaver Knesset Simcha Rotman. Excuse me, I need your help. I need you to help us to find this girl. And then I get another phone call from another Chariedi lady. Listen, my son was also in that party in Simchas Torah. Please, we didn't hear nothing from him. And I get these names. And then I with Zaka. And that day we went, everybody's trying to look for her, and they're sending text. Someone saw this girl. Someone saw this boy. Someone knows something about her. And then I said, Umi yodea, im le'et kazot, egat lamalchut. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put me in this position in these days from the 7th of October. And whatever I could do to ask people to make food, to ask people to pray, to ask people to learn, to take these names, pikuach nefesh, these young people, maybe they're hiding somewhere. Who knows how we can help? All of these things that I did. And when I'm telling you, really, it's very hard. Like now I'm speaking to you, I'm telling you, like, it's not that we're speaking about something in the past. We're speaking about something that we're going through in these days. Like in few hours ago, I got a phone call that Chariedi, the father that was kidnapped in Gaza with his brother, was killed. And these terrorists sent a video of how it happened that he's killed. And I went to these houses of these, I know very well his daughters of Chariedi. And if they can hear me now, maybe like I want to send them a lot of tanchumim. We just spoke a few days ago, and I told them, I gave them chizuk, and I told the daughter, Bezrat Hashem, the father is gonna come back and let's pray. And now I have no words. I'll tell you the truth, I have no words. We're not speaking about something in the past, we're speaking about something that we're going through. And now in these days, Bibas, these children, and in these days, over 100 people are kidnapped in Gaza, and girls and women and children and old people and soldiers. And really, I'm saying like, we're going through such hard times. So now it's not the time. I'm in these days, I know I'm going to also need like help and someone to speak to, because it's really hard for me. And I'm a mother and I have also 4 children. And when I come home every day after all of these days, it's so hard. Like yesterday I went to meet Maya Shem in Tel HaShomer in the hospital. She was also kidnapped. And I went to Ori Magidish. She's the first Israeli soldier that she was a Tatzpitanit. She went into Gaza and the Israelis, it's the only one and the first one. The Israelis army brought her back, and she also has an amazing story, but she was HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved her life. And she told me, she said every morning, Modeh ani. מודה אני לפניך, ומלך חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי, בחמלה רבה אמונתך. You see also Maya Shem, today she put on her story a perek Teilim, and these people were very far, and they had the tinokot שנשבו, they didn't know anything about praying, about nothing. It just shows you, like in these days, when I try to speak to them and I tell them, try maybe to say like Shema Yisrael, try maybe to say something, maybe a Frashat Chala, maybe we can do something together, because they also come up to me and they tell me, you know what, Yael? A lady told me I was very far, I was lefty. I said, why not to help these people? They're also like us. Okay, Arabs, but they have lives. She said to me, today, nothing. These people want to kill us, kill Jews no matter what. They'll do everything to kill Jews, to speak good about these terrorists. Today, she told me, she's far away from it, and she told me, she came up to me, one of them, and she said to me, Yael, maybe we can do a Frashat Chala. And I'm like, you a Frashat Chala? Like, she told me, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. They're all already there. This is the situation. We saw a lot of nice moments with Arima Giddish. The family did a Hachnasa Sefer Torah in her room. They did a Frashat Chala. Her mother was screaming Shema Yisrael. All of her, they all get such a chizuk. So you know what I say? HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this for us. And each one in the heart needs to think and to decide what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from me these days. And it doesn't matter if you're in America, in London, in Paris, if you're a Jew, if you're not a Jew, all of us, charedim, not charedim, all of us, we need to stand for Israel. We need to stand together. We need to give each one a good word. We need to say good things. We need to say good stories. You know how many soldiers are going with tzitziot. A lot of them were very far from Yahadut. A lot of them were lefties, but they're all now saying, Am Israel Chai. Am Israel Chai. We want to be together. Now is the time to stand for Israel, to stand together. I can tell you that I'm doing also in these days, things that I can't all of them even tell you, like things that with the government and with the army, with IDF. And I didn't think when I started all of my job and in TV that I'll do these things. But today I have a lot of connections, a lot of people I know in these places, a lot of things I can't like hear from here and give to the other way. I got a lot of achrayut in these days. I had to leave a few of the things I did in my job because I started to do other things. Today I do a lot of things that like I said, I can't even speak, but things that are very, very, very mashma'uti for Israel, very important for the IDF in Gaza, very important things for us as a nation. And I think that the way I went through and the things I went through, it wasn't always easy. And like I said, also in these days, it's not easy. I'm going to cry in a minute because really it's very hard for me. And every day is hard. Like I told you, I wake up in the morning and always I remember that the Rav told me in the beginning, do these things. It's important. It's important. It's important. And you know what? I'm going to say to you something nice that's going to also give you a good feeling, that also the people that in the beginning told me, stop it, Yael, it's not the right thing, like 8 years ago, they all come up to me and tell me, even before the 7th of October, thank you so much for being our mouth. Thank you so much for saying. Thank you so much for talking. They heard this story. They heard this story. I don't know if you know the story of Moishe Kleinerman, 16 years old, from Kriyat Sefer, Modi'in Illit, Chariedi family, that one day went into Kever Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Miron, and we never heard from him till today. Till today, nothing. They didn't find the body. We don't know if he's alive, if he's not alive, if nothing. I went to the police, we checked on the cameras. Today I take his mother, that she's Chariedi, Gitti Kleinerman, amazing woman. She comes with me to the hospitals. We go to the families of the hostages. We go to sick people. In another hour, I need to go to the hospital Har HaTzofim in Jerusalem. There's over 20 soldiers that are lying there without legs, without hands. One guy without his eye. Horrible stories. But you know what? Am Yisrael Chai. I go in there. The soldiers tell me, Yael, we want to go back to Gaza. We want to go fight. I'm shocked. Yael, we want you to give us tzitzit. Please organize me a Noam Elimelech. Please organize me a Tehillim. We saw on your story on your Instagram that you went to this family and you spoke about, you gave them chizuk. Please, we want you to come into this family, give chizuk. And you know what? A lot of them are women because the husbands are in the army. The soldiers are men. There's a lot of women, the mothers, the sisters, the daughters, that the soldiers are in Gaza. And they tell me, please come, give us chizuk. So what I try to do in these days, I try also to organize a lot of good things. Baruch Hashem, I do things with Shai Graucher in a few things we did with ladies, and that the husbands were killed soldiers and they are pregnant and they're waiting for having a baby. We had this week from Rosh Chodesh Shvat, we had 3 newborn babies, girls that were born for soldiers that were not here with us anymore. And the ladies, brave women that are here. So I think that as a Chariedi woman, as a mother of children, as I work in the TV still and I work in the radio, but I just say good things. And they sent me yesterday, I went to the Nova party just to stand there after 101 days to speak about it's so hard for us. And I said there a Perek Tehillim on the place that they were all killed on the mamash, I could see everything. And I say to myself, you know what? Also the people that in the beginning didn't see how it's important to today come up and say to me, thank you. And I don't need them to tell me thank you. I don't need anybody to tell me thank you. I feel it's not me. It's not me. I'm not doing it. I feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He put me here for a certain shlichut. And He also now, when we speaking and talking, He's giving me the words. He's telling me what to say. He wants the world to hear what I'm saying now. And everything we do, I see how life is round. You go, you do, things come back. Sometimes you up, sometimes you down. You need to use your thing. And I want to tell everybody, don't think that maybe you're far away in the world and maybe you can't help, or you're in a certain position. what you can do. I want to tell you, everybody has a tafkid in these days, and you all very important, and you all can help us. First of all, if you pray. Second of all, to do something to help. If you want, really, even as you see Israeli posts, give a like, write something, stand with Israel. Something, because this fight is about everybody, and it's so important, even if you're not a Jew, to be with us and to help us. And that's what gives us power. And that's what gives, when we have power, we give it to the soldiers when they fight inside. I see we're having now, in a few days, I'm organizing a big thing for 100 ladies that the husbands are in Gaza. And we're giving them something small. And really, I'm saying it now, but if someone you want to help and want to donate, want to volunteer, whatever you want, we need everybody. I buy people from my own things. I go and buy and help. And these days, everybody needs everybody. It's days that we all need to help each other. Like, it's so important. And these ladies, they get koach. And then when the husband phones from the army, hello, how are you doing? And instead of them, crying, good, we're feeling good. We had something yesterday with a lot of ladies, and we gave each other a lot of power, and we spoke. And so I think ladies have a lot of shlichut and a lot of about this war in Gaza and about all Klal Israel. And when we saving our nation in Israel, we're saving the Jews in the whole world, because it's one, everything's together, it's one part. So when you think that you're a small person and you have nothing to do, no, you're strong, you can help, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can help. This thing I'm having next week, I wasn't embarrassed. I phoned people. Hello, can you help us? We need help. We need something. We need a big place. We need help. We need to buy things for the children. We need to make these women happy. Maybe you can give a nice cream for the ladies. Maybe you can give a nice necklace. And people are helping. Like, for me, that's the nitzachon. For me, that's what makes me happy, to see Israel amazing, chai, helps each other, wants to be together. And Be'ezrat Hashem, I hope we're going to be over all of this thing, and we're going to meet in the Mashiach Tzidkeinu in Jerusalem, B'mira B'yameinu Amen. And you need to open your camera and watch. Start following me, Yael Zien, because I'm going to be the one that's going to say Mashiach's here. Start organizing your stuff and go on a plane and come. We have a lot of place.
Love it. We're gonna include links below where people could find you.
Yael Zien, YAELZIEN. It's not to follow me; it's to follow what Am Yisrael does. It's important, and I think davka in these days to give chizuk on the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere.
Really beautiful. Yael, thank you so much for the time. I know you have to run to the hospital now. I have to go to bed, honestly. But really, thank you. This has been very powerful.
Thank you.
We really appreciate
Thank you for what you're doing, and continue more and more. Be strong. It's important. The whole world should hear what the things that you're doing on your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this week's episode. Before I get into my piece, what I have to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, or even Apple, we love when you rate us. Again, I have no clue what it means. I'm pretty sure the Apple metrics are pretty pointless, but who cares? If you can rate us, go ahead. That's what they say you're supposed to do, so I'm doing it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below. Maybe you've felt the same struggle that Yael's been through. Maybe not the same exact, but you can understand it. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say about what's been going on in Israel. We love the comments you're leaving. We see them, we appreciate them, and it helps us. And I want to talk about Yael, that I think of what she was saying. It was just very interesting that how many times in life do we go through a struggle and so many people out there are saying, hey, you're doing the wrong thing. But I think for various reasons why she was able to be successful in all areas. First of all, I love the fact that she went to Das Torah, or a big rabbi who understands what to do. And she didn't leave it fully up to herself. She said, hey, there are people that are smarter and more learned out there. Let me rely on them. And she did that. I think that's a very important thing. And then secondly, I think she's just very honest. I think so many times in our lives, we try to, in quotes, do the right thing, but I think we know deep down that we're not really doing the right thing. And I think it's a skill set that is rare. And I think she was just very honest with herself. And I think that helped propel her to get to where she is today by just constantly asking, what does God want from me? And then thirdly, I think she has great parents. I mean, so many people have interesting relationship with their parents. And I think her parents, and I saw this with my parents also, like gave her room to breathe. Even though she was doing things that they weren't necessarily on board with, they gave her the ability to breathe and find herself. And I think so often parents, they wanted the best for their kids, but they don't realize that they're kind of suffocating them in some way. So I think those three factors helped her, and kol hakavod to her. And if you haven't yet checked out BitBean to help your business in any way, you could be Apple. Apple could be watching this. Apple, go ahead and try BitBean. Or you could be small mom and pop laundromat that needs help with their software because they have multiple places, and there you go. They're going to help you in any way when it comes to software. If you haven't yet purchased the Dream Raffle ticket, go ahead, go to the link, and of course use the code LL, thedreamraffle.com. Don't forget the word the. If you haven't used our code word L'chaim for Mosaica Press, go ahead and use it. I am confident there is a book there for you. But more than that, there are books there for you. So don't get just one book, get 2 books, get 17 books. Why 17? It's a random number. I thought I was gonna say hi. You probably didn't think I'd say hi. And lastly, if you haven't yet used the code word INSPIRE for $18 off on Twillory.com, go ahead. You deserve to look good, and you also deserve to feel good. And your wardrobe can be upgraded for years to come. So go ahead, join the Twillory revolution. Until next time, you can find inspiration everywhere. L'chaim.
Living L'chaim.